What's good? So if you have been active on my channel for about the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been mainly covering the Gojo versus Sukuna fight. And also, if you're aware of the current situation going on, I had 5 of my videos just clapped up by Shueisha, and they're never coming back. Even though one of them was the highest viewed video ever on my channel. I'm not upset, you are. But today, actually, I kind of wanted to sit down and give my thoughts on the Gojo versus Sukuna fight overall, because I've heard a lot of things from different people, and a lot of what I'm hearing is that the Gojo versus Sukuna fight is the best fight in Jujutsu Kaisen, and I just objectively think that isn't true. Again, this is mostly my opinion. I know that's kind of a little buzzword. So if you don't like what I have to say and you want to leave a dislike, fuck your mama. But if you do like what I have to say, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, because I really need to recuperate. I think for myself personally, one of the biggest things about this fight that I really don't care for, and why this definitely isn't the best, is the emotions attached to the fight. While yes, I think it's cool and I think it's interesting to see the peak of Jujutsu and what, you know, the 2 strongest can do, ultimately, if one dies, I'm not really pulled in a particular way. Like if Gojo were to die, I'd be like, damn, he's dead. Okay, moving on. Or if Sukuna were to die, I'd be like, that's disappointing. I want to see more. I'm moving on. I'm not nearly as just like, he's gotta die, he's gotta live. Oh my God. I mean, like objectively speaking, there's no way that Gojo lives through this fight, right? And if Gojo does happen to live, he's gonna be nerfed or incapacitated in some way. That's just how the storytelling is gonna go. And I've talked about this multiple times, but when we start relying on Gojo for every single problem that starts to happen, he starts to feel like the main character instead of Itadori. Now, also, a lot of people are claiming that Itadori is a side character in his own manga. That's just not objectively true. Like, if you were to say that pre-culling games, no one would believe you. And people would be like, what are you talking about? Like, you're tripping. But post-culling game, with the introduction of all these new characters and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people do tend to kind of like throw them to the wayside, because we had like 10, 11 different characters thrown at us that we were supposed to care about, and Gege kind of fumbled a few of them, honestly. I mean, like Angel and was it Hana? I barely remember her name, but like that character I could not care less about. Like when Sukuna like got hungry and just took a straight chunk out of her, I just really didn't care. And like same thing with this fight, man. Like yeah, it's cool. I love the spectacle, man. Gojo, you know, freestyling a hollow purple, that's sick. I like that. But also there really aren't that many stakes for me. Like I'm definitely waiting on some more stuff from Yuji, because I'm a huge Yuji fan and I love every time he's on screen. I've talked about it multiple times, but I really just, I don't know, I'm just kind of along for the ride. Especially I feel like they did Sukuna pretty dirty. I mean, Sukuna hasn't used a single one of his own techniques besides like dismantle at the beginning of the fight. And I don't know. I feel like we're like Sukuna just self-nerfed himself the entire time. Like 10 Shadows is cool. We obviously saw some really cool stuff with it, but even still, some of the 10 Shadow stuff that we did see, it was kind of a fumble, man. I mean, like, dude, Agito was around for what, 2 chapters and didn't do anything? I mean, all Agito did was, team up against Gojo for 1 chapter. I mean, Agito, I almost called it a she, but I don't really know what it is. But Agito, I mean, didn't really have any special abilities besides like the regen of round deer or whatever. It didn't really, it didn't have anything. It was like, if it was like a Maharaga 2.0 and it had like some crazy terse technique or like whatever you use on it, like bounces back at you or something like that, that'd be cool, that'd be interesting, but it wasn't there. Agito was literally just there to jerk off Gojo some more, and I didn't really like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that was kind of a fumble. Never mind a lot of the fact that Gojo is clearly Gege's favorite, because he's just pulling stuff out of the thin air, like straight out of Gege's hindquarters. Like, I think it's cool when Gojo hits the falling blossom. I think that was really cool. I think that was really nice. But when we start getting into like, oh, Gojo got his arm cut off, and then he can just regen it with the curse energy because he hit a black flash and all this stuff, man. No. I mean, like the panel where Gojo gets his arm cut off, I like literally, you could see in that video, if you saw it, I was like, oh my God, your Maharaga with the W, Gojo's cooked, he's done, he's gone. But then when he regens at the next chapter, I'm like, oh, that was a waste of my time. Okay. I don't inherently think that characters having an ability to heal in shonen is a bad thing. I think it could be very interesting and make for some interesting fight dynamics. But when both characters can heal themselves from almost every injury that they get, like, what are we doing? Like we're playing tug of war, and eventually I'm just waiting for something to snap, and it's supposed to be tension, but it starts to feel kind of artificial. I mean, there were like a good 2-3 chapters where literally the same thing was going on, and that was the main expansion fights. But the domain expansion fights, I really just did not care for. I mean, honestly, I want to say they were overly complicated because I understood the Viz translations for some reason are also very, very weird in Jujutsu Kaisen. They're like blue is azure, but red is still red. And then like they had Gojo's infinity referred to as like something else, like it wasn't invulnerability, it was like some other word. And I was just like, huh? Obviously I have to be very careful about what panels I show because Shueisha will come after me again. And I can't take that anymore. I definitely think the fight started off stronger. And I mean, again, seeing a black flash of after, you know, over 100 chapters or so, that's really cool. I really enjoyed that. But it really does feel like Sukuna in the first 3 chapters, he was doing some stuff. I mean, when he first cut Gojo's neck, people were saying, oh, it's Gojo over. He's dead. He's cooked. He's gonna die. But then after that, I mean, Sukuna was really has been playing defense. He's been on the back foot. I mean, literally that like panel where his eyes are bleeding and he took the you know, the infinite void or you know, whatever it is, whatever Gojo's domain expansion is, and his brain got fried. I mean, the Sukuna disrespect has been going crazy. Now, again, I don't necessarily like love overpowered characters like that. It kind of just like Misfit of Demon Academy or whatever. Like the main character, I kind of dropped it because I was just like, oh, like this dude just fixes every problem. And I get it. And you know, I get it's supposed to be, you know, what goes on around them. Obviously, I've read One Punch Man, but I think One Punch Man is more interesting because you have these wacky, zany characters, but like there's no medium, you know what I mean? Like Gojo, he has flaws in his stuff, but he's covered pretty much all of them. So like, I'm really struggling to see how he would get beaten now because Gege put himself in a hole where Sukuna literally last chapter, he almost got nuked. Like he almost like blew up, right? Like he's literally on his last legs. Like I'm talking like he got his feet out, knees, ass, he crushed it up, looking like a scab, right? Look like a whole scab. And so like next chapter, like Kusakabe is like, oh, Gojo's got his, you know, his reverse curse technique back, and you know, he's on fire because he had the black flash, so all that curse energy is flowing back into him. So he's almost like good to go. Sukuna's got nothing. He has no Mahoraga, no Agito. I mean, he's down to however many Shikigami until they reincarnate. So it's like, oh, what Sukuna got? And again, when Sukuna inevitably kills Gojo, or when Mahoraga cuts his head off, though, I don't think Mahoraga's really dead. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. I don't believe that. We saw the wheel disappear, but I don't know. I have a feeling that Mahoraga's gonna, like, I don't know, like put his hand through his chest or something. I mean, like, honestly, if Sukuna was smart, he would just like hidden Mahoraga in the shadow or something, which is a possibility. We haven't seen Mahoraga without the wheel, so I don't even know why I even brought that up. Sorry. But inevitably, when Sukuna does like get like the W at some point, or incapacitates Gojo in some sort of form, people are gonna like, oh, it's an ass pull, and he didn't really win that, he lost. It's so weird because I'm commentating on this fight. It's not even done yet, but I just really don't feel like Sukuna really got to show out all that much. He was so reliant on Megumi's stuff and Megumi's body. Like, how would Sukuna have fared in Yuji's body? I don't know. I feel like I feel like it would have been more interesting seeing Sukuna fight Gojo with no 10 shadows. I would, because I mean, again, Black Box, Yagirozu's gift or whatever he gave, or you know, she gave to him, I feel like it would have been interesting. We've got a different dynamic, but now it's just we're like, oh, dude, you use 10 shadows as a crutch. Like, I don't want to say he's a fraud because obviously he's the second strongest. I mean, he said, I think he like outright stated that he has like double Yuta's curse energy output, and Yuta has a higher curse energy output than Gojo, which is wild because Gojo's RCT allowed him to tank the Malevolent Shrine, like guaranteed hits for like he was getting all cut up and he was like literally just pouring blood. But if Yuta's curse energy output is stronger than that and his RCT is stronger, what could Yuta regenerate? I don't know, man. It feels like this, like everything that's happened in this fight, there's just like a lack of consequence. Besides Mahoraga's wheel turning, I just kind of went waiting for the fight to end. I mean, if we get another chapter or so of Kusakabe explaining more stuff for 5 to 6 pages, and I mean, I don't know. I definitely do not think this is the best fight in Jujutsu Kaisen by far. Definitely, I would probably say the best fight in Jujutsu Kaisen would have to be Mahito versus Todo and Yuji. I don't even think it comes close, honestly. We have the emotions attached to that fight. It was the culmination of the entire Shibuya incident. We have all these, dead friends and even, dead enemies and all this chaos, literal chaos was happening in Shibuya. And then Yuji literally just like struck, like having all this just getting beaten down by just like 10 different things at one time. And then Todo comes in, gets him back in the game. We're hype. My man Todo, right? Everybody loves Todo, right? Mr. Booty Man. You know what I'm saying? And so like when he comes back, it's like, oh man, that's awesome. That's cool. And then we see this assist. We, when this gets animated, Mappa's gonna do the thing where they're like running along the tendrils or whatever like that. They're like running towards the camera. I love when Mappa does that kind of stuff, man. I love it. Like they did with the Mechamaru fight, and it looked great still. I love when they do that. But with that fight, there was so much weight that we felt. That's why it was so heavy when we got that panel of Yuji walking towards Mahito, and he was like, oh, I am you, right? I will kill curses as long as there is breath in my lungs. I'm gonna do whatever I can as long as I'm alive. I will kill as many curses as I can. I don't care, right? Love that. Love that panel. Mappa's gonna kill that, right? But with this fight, man, I mean, like Sukuna's throwing out some bars. You saw what I'm saying? He's like, oh, I'll strip your scales. That's a bar. That's a little light bar. But I mean, Gojo ain't really spitting a lot. Gojo's not really the type of guy to like talk like that. But I mean, Gojo's saying, hey, don't remember you're the challenger here. That's cold. That's cold. I like that. I like that. I like the confidence. He's still gonna die though. He's probably gonna get his head cut off. Also, if you're wondering why I keep referring to his head getting cut off, I think Gege, because he's in Toji's clothes, he specifically told Toji that, hey, you should have cut my head off because I'm just gonna heal like everything you do to me back up. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Gojo regens his entire body from his head, I'm dropping the manga. I don't care. Also, another thing is the art has been kind of weird. Now, generally speaking, I don't think Gege's art has fallen off. It's just taking a really different stylistic approach. It's a lot more dirty, a lot messier, but it's still like really, really good. Like you have a lot of these, the blood splatter and the liquid effects. They're more present than they were in the beginning chapters. But I don't know, like Gojo at some point looks like a totally different person that he did like in previous chapters. Like Yuji looks pretty much the same. Like same thing with like Megumi and like everybody else. You could like Inumaki looks exactly the same. Same thing with Panda. Like there's not been no like drastic change with them. Gojo, if you were to take a picture of like him with the I'd win panel, then him like with the like when he's like posing as Sukuna with the latest chapter, like he looks totally different. And then like there's that panel where he looks like a frog and he looks like Kashimo for some reason. Like it's really weird. Now Gege also has had some fantastic panels. I mean, obviously the hollow purple nuke going off, that was really cool. The panel where Sukuna is getting hit with the domain expansion, and like his eyes just like blank out. That's really cool. I like the black flash panel and all that kind of stuff, but I just feel like there was a lot of missteps with this fight, man. I definitely think there was a lot of fluff that could have been, put on the chopping block and kind of pushed off. You know what I mean? I mean, regardless, this fight was gonna have some effect on my love of the series, and I don't love the series any less. I still quite enjoy it. I mean, it's still obviously in my top 5. I mean, you see how much content I cover on it, like all the time. Like, but no, definitely not the best fight in Jujutsu Kaisen by far. I don't know. It's not bad, not bad at all. That's not what I'm saying. But there's better stuff out there as far as JJK goes. But yeah, I mean that's honestly about all I have, man. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the Gojo versus Sukuna fight? I mean, I'm enjoying it. Am I loving it? No. All right. Am I keeping up with the leaks and all that every night? Yes, absolutely. But I'm kind of just waiting for it to end at this point. It just felt like a really long tug of war that it just needs to stop. But yeah, it's me, boy Daffy, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. Thank you guys so much for the love and support on the channel recently. I mean, we jumped 400 subscribers in the past month, which is absolutely wild. I mean, there was a time where I like did not want to do YouTube anymore because I was stuck at like 69 subscribers for like 4 months. Now, granted, your boy's content wasn't good at the time, but yeah, obviously we leveled up. We found our niche, you know what I mean? We found out what we're good at, what we're not good at, and we're still leveling up. We're still improving, and I'm still trying to build that community. I'm seeing a lot more people that I'm seeing on more videos. I'm seeing a steady stream of familiar faces, and that's really all I want, right? I want people to laugh and do all this cool stuff with. So I'm grateful, man. Just thank you guys so much. I'm still gonna say it. But yeah, it's me, boy Daffy, guys, and yeah, I said yeah 3 times. Goodbye.